So these are black. I'm used to red ones. These are the 6 gigabits a second, I guess, or however you measure. We're gonna measure it. So this is the these curved, contoured, cornered ones are gonna go into your disk drive and your hard drive. So I'm gonna hook those up first, this end, and then feed my SATA in, so I'm not pulling out the motherboard. So you're gonna come up here, find your power spot, clipped in. Okay. So normally the red SATAs don't have that little clip feature, so this is a little better sturdy, so it won't slide out on its own if you're wiggling your computer around travel. That could happen, usually doesn't, but that's a little clip feature. And this has a little clip. So these are a little nicer. So I'm going to take this and put this underneath my power because I want it to go in the rear. And I'm going to hang it near the SATA spots down there so it's ready to go. So I'm going to go around the back and find my hard drive. And this one is actually straight, so that's fine. We'll just should be able to, unless I've got the wrong hook. Oh, I had it upside down. So this is a straight one. I'm going to feed it underneath these, underneath all those, and come back around. And like I said, keep checking your motherboard layout to make sure you're matching up with the right cords you want. So we want our hard drive to be our SATA 1, or SATA 0 actually. So I'm going to hook up the disk drive SATA 1 first because it's on the bottom. That clipped in. Now I'll take my hard drive and put it in SATA 0. And you got to make sure you set your boot priorities when you are loading up your BIOS. You can hit delete or F, whatever F key it is, and you want to make sure your boot is from 0, which is your hard drive. So you'll boot from your hard drive, and you can install your Windows to your hard drive so it'll be booted right. Now, if you're repairing or maybe installing Windows for the first time, you might want to boot from your disk drive and then install to your hard drive, so it'll boot Windows that way. So we have that all hooked up, so we have our power to all our major components. Now the only power we have to do left is our fans, and we also have to check out our 1394 down here and check out that extra switch. So fan power just gets messy usually.
Are all the USBs hooked up?
Yeah, the 2 USB spots are hooked up. So we have all our fan power left. As you can see, it's not too crowded, but when I bring these back in, it's going to get a little crowded. So I'm going to take these, make sure they're cleared everything, and throw them out the back to meet some of our fan. Most of our fan power is already up there. Our front fan and our top fan is over here. This is the only one that's going to have to be hooked up that way. So I'm just going to bring this basically right across and get that out there too. It's going to be a little messy, but I'm pushing it back in and it should be fine because this is actually giving us a lot of space here. Now, if we have another fan, of course these are going to be raised, but since this is a pretty big case compared to what I'm used to, so we have a lot of space here for cords. So we're going to go around the back here. It's kind of jumbled. We just got to take your time, make sure you're identifying properly. So we have our power stuff here for our fans. We still have this. That'll have to be put in. But these are your fans here. It basically tells you all fans. Fan out, fan out, fan out. These are so once you have power going to this initial little connector here, right there, that's going to run power to all these. So if you had more, so you can bring this cord to the back here and hook up this little fan power if you wanted to, or you can plug that directly into one of these power supply spots. So what I'm going to do is take this power and take it to the back with that fan cord to keep that out of the way. So I'm going to have to feed this back through a little bit. So this is giving you lots of different ways to hook your fans if you need to. So I'm going to take this. Just take your time. Don't pull anything to get stuck. I'm taking this back over here. And then I'm going to pull this one back through as well. Whoops. It's all patience and how you want to organize yourself when you're, whatever's easiest for you or whatever. So you got to plug this back in. So this is giving us power to this rear fan, and also giving this will be the power to hook up to the door fan. So you could pick which one you want to use. So if you want a tighter feel where it'll be tighter, you can go here. You want some slack, you can go here. So I'm going to want it tighter to be a little higher. So I'm gonna hook it with this one for now to kind of keep my cords, out of the way. So I'm gonna kind of hang that there and get that ready. So then it'll be like this later on, be sitting in there with the door, so it'll kind of go how the door goes. So I'm gonna tuck that up over my CPU fan to keep it out of the way. So now we got our fans powered, which is pretty easy, I guess, since this. It's just these pins, they're little metal crap. So you got to take your time and push it on there because they move really easily. They're really bendable. So you just got to make sure they're lining up and then push it on, and it'll make sure they straighten out once they're in the hole. So that's on there. So I think we've got almost everything now. I've got my double check your power switches, check your USBs, make sure everything's on good because that can cause boot errors and every kind of thing. So I don't see anything in the manual about the AC 97. So make sure nothing is in your fans and whatnot, and make sure nothing is going to be cut. Make sure, like you see, it's a little tangled. I mean, if you're real smart and professional, you can get these zip tied off and make them look nicer. I mean, they just overkill it with the amount of fan stuff they give you. So you just kind of like that. That's fine. It'll stay up in there. So we got kind of a lot of cords hanging out here. I just pushed them out slowly. I'm going to hook this up now. This is our USB top SATA. So give them a little show here. You've got your 4 USB ports. I forget what this port is. Microphone, audio. This is your power light. This is your turn your lights on, turn your fan power. This is your internal SATA. This is your power button. It's kind of a shitty reset button. You got to really kind of like tap with your finger or use a pencil or something. So I'm going to take, this is our eSATA right here. I'm going to put this on, I guess I can put it on slot 2 or 3, whatever you choose. Now, go up here with the SATA. See, this is a red cord. It doesn't have the click feature. But I'm going to double check my numbers. This will go on slot 2, so this is actually 3 since it starts at 0, because most computer things start at 0. So I'm just going to plug that in. So now Kyle can use that external SATA. And I think we have everything hooked up. So I'm going to put the doors back on, hook this fan up. We're going to do a little startup with a monitor. So we're basically done. I mean, it took a little while, but the best thing to know is when you start the computer, if it loads up everything fine, you're golden. That means you've done it right. Now, if you get an error, you got to go back and check your cords, check everything out. But when you turn on your computer first time, you might want to leave this door off just to see, make sure power's going to here, the fans are turning, make sure your CPU fan's plugged in, make sure all your fans are turning, everything's lighting up, and then you should be good. So yeah, we're going to get this back door on, get it a little more closed, and we're going to try to hook it up. So we're going to bring another piece there. So.